Hello and welcome into a special Open Cup bonus edition of the USL Tactics Show, where I want to trace what the Republic have done to get to the final of this tournament game by game and preview what they might face with Orlando City. So getting into it, the first matchup saw the Sacramento take on Timbers U23. At this point in time, Sacramento was playing more of a 4-2-3-1, but it was a high interchange sort of formation. Note how Viader is narrow there, Douglas Martinez tucks under, and Rodrigo Lopez is able to get in behind. That same sort of fluidity reigned in the Central Valley Fuego matchup in the next round, and I'm going to highlight three examples here of Keko being the one who's so fluid in his motion. Against that back four, the front four of Sacramento was really able to do damage by moving around, switching about, and creating danger. At the other end, you started to see the defensive identity come through for this team. This is a hard-pressing, solidly defensive side, and in that passage, they created a high turnover off that press. The press continued against Phoenix, but the real revelation was the return of that three at the back shape. You're going to see Gurr there playing high at right wing back, played past. Lagrassa supports, and Phoenix is able to play behind, but the back three is so solid. Late on, Luther Archimed came on as a second striker, and the side was able to put the game away with a well-taken corner and a good routine to boot. Then the MLS matchups began to come about. San Jose was first on the docket. They're a team that plays in a 4-2-3-1, and in this game, they pushed their wingers high in the press and relied on a zonal, very mobile number 10 to create damage on the ball and rove off of it to clog build for the Republic. However, as you're seeing here, Sacramento was very effective at generating transition chances. Douglas Martinez, less than being a number 9 in a traditional sense, was allowed to rove and roam and lead transition. That's been a key for this team across the run in the open. In this passage, you're going to see what Sacramento does so well defensively. Both Keko and Lopez have dropped into a midfield 4 to form a deeper 5-4-1 shape, and it's simply impenetrable. Those sorts of tenets carry through to the Galaxy game. What you're seeing here is the opening goal that came just minutes into that matchup. LA is a side that pushes their fullbacks high in build, pushes their central midfielders high in build, and is vulnerable to the counter. When Douglas roams, he's able to find space and link up with Rodrigo Lopez with a late arriving run. Later on in the game, Sacramento was able to get a bit of a foothold once LA pressed high and then decided to sit back. They were a bit of a chameleon in this. But that left-sided motion to start off the play and a late arrival from Luis Felipe sealed the deal to get a rangy goal. Again, Sacramento moved into the 5-4-1 as the game wore on. You're going to see Viader really track well within the context of that shape to get a stop, and it's just solid defense that so defines what Sacramento does in the back five. Moving on then, Sporting Kansas City came in the semifinals. They're a team that presses high and narrow in a 4-3-3 shape, and you're seeing the benefits of that there. They match the three center backs man for man and really cause damage. At the same time, they play a bit of an unbalanced look in their own build-out. You're going to note Graham Zusi staying deep, and then he's drawn into what Rodrigo Lopez is doing there. There's a switch to Viader, and they're able to earn a free kick for it. So with these dynamics in mind, it tended to be a pretty even game. Certainly, Sporting Kansas City had the better of the chances, but I did think that Mark Briggs made some good changes. You saw the two forward look once again, but at the end of the day, it was Lopez's interventions in the midfield and an outstanding Daniel Vitiello goalkeeping performance that carried the day. So now we move on to the Orlando City final. Orlando City plays in a 4-2-3-1, much like many of the MLS opponents that Sacramento has faced to this point. One of the key things that they do is push Ruan high from the right back spot, and they're vulnerable down that side as a result. You're going to see an example of New York Red Bulls generating chances by going down that flank when Ruan isn't there to capitalize and defend. That's something that time and time again, Sacramento has shown an ability to beat. I've talked a lot about Douglas Martinez being such a fluid mover in transition, and I think that he can really do some damage against the right side for Orlando City. Another tenet going the other way of what Orlando City does is center back ball carriage. They're a team that can really overwhelm you with numbers, draw you forward by having their defenders carry the ball up the pitch. Sacramento is solid in their shape, but they're not impenetrable. This is a team that, if you throw enough numbers at them, can be beaten, and I think this is something to flag. If you go too aggressively at those center backs, someone like a Pereira, Facundo Torres is going to be able to generate chances. But overall, I'm excited for this matchup for Sacramento. I really think that they can do the job. They've shown themselves to be flexible tactically across this run, and it's going to be an exciting matchup no matter what.